See, 1, 2, 3, and then again. Put it like over your head. So now we're going to do a little harder. You ready for this?
Go for it.
Right.
Ouch.
And then,
what you got to do is walk around with a cocky look on your face and not give a fuck about some of these people. That's why I have my rule, you know, live and let live, but don't force it down my throat. And my saying for that is when a rat's ass should be offered or given. You can't really give a rat's ass because the ass of the rat is not really, the ass of this rodent isn't really yours to give. It belongs to that rodent, you know what I mean? So let that rat keep his ass, you know. But yet, they can't dictate to you when a rat's ass should even be offered or given. And so if the rat's ass being offered up means you're willing to play ball with him a little bit and you know, tolerate something, you know, and try to reason things out, you know, and tolerate them and play the game, that's called offering up the rat's ass. And you're doing them a favor by offering up the rat's ass. You don't have to give a rat's ass, you know. Yeah, so it's take that into consideration, you know what I mean? I also will close this right now by saying that if you've gotten this far in this video, I have a saying about giving a rat's ass that's kind of funny. That how can you give a rat's ass? The ass of the rat isn't yours to give, so let the rat keep his ass. Or you can pick up a rat and hand him to somebody else's ass first, and yes, you're giving a rat's ass. And if the other person wants to accept the rat ass first, to give a rat's ass, you're sort of offering up the rat's ass, and it's up to the other person if he wants to accept. So I'll have another saying too, that in some certain things, that if a rat's ass should really be offered or even given about a particular subject. So that's what I say about tolerance to a certain thing. You can say sometimes you give a shit. There's some and I also have a thing where I say there's certain aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck. It's not that I don't give a shit or give a fuck. It's there's some aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck that I don't give a shit or a fuck about. And at any given time, when and where should a rat's ass be given, or a fuck be given, or a shit be given, or even offered? You know what I mean? Alright, what's up, guys? I'm going to tell you another story, give you a video here. This is about that gang stalking and gaslighting, what they call it, in relation to some of your own family members that are nice to your face but get passive aggressive. Sometimes if you were living at home for a while, or if you're not living at home, or you're like across the neighborhood, you drove the family car for older family members, and to not tell no big long ass stories. I don't want no fucking long ass half-hour video, which I did one like that and it turned into that's why I'm doing this video over right now, because long ass video to render, because I render my videos, because I'm gonna put in the corner of this video some of my older stuff that I was doing back from way back, and tell you why the story is relevant. To make this long story short and not make a long ass video like I did and I didn't post for that reason. You got slightly dysfunctional passive aggressive family members, and it's not always in your head, you know, not like some of these people like Dr. Phil. There's some stuff that's really going on, but yet some people it's on their head. But to make this short version, to get to the point, you pick the scenario that's maybe you personally. You know, things are good for a while, people are cool for a while, just like some of your neighbors or people down the street, but yet they're passive aggressive, you know, good times and all that. Well, I tell you how my fitness stuff was born from a scrapyard. And I want to make a long story short too, the scrapyard was, I had big ideas, eventually do this as a gym and as a business. And my fitness stuff is always around certain workplaces, construction places, scrapyards, junk, it's paradise, unlike your, even though very wonderful people, you know, I'm influenced by some of the yoga people on mats. Very wonderful people, a lot of them women, I told you that story. The guy even got fired from a place, you know, for half the place were women showing up. But before this, yeah, I worked at a scrapyard, and this is weird. Dysfunctional family members. I had family members that are passive aggressive. I'm not doing this like other people that make videos, oh, poor me, or any kind of shit like that, or trying to induce any, what other people make videos like this and saying, oh, they're all paranoid, and it's not. It's a real thing you got to deal with. And here, okay, here it goes. Getting to the point, because I'm laughing about this myself, in a sense that, you know, if you dealt with it, you can't believe it. And I'm laughing because how stupid these people are being. Okay, it's the scrapyard. Me and my stepdad, and I lived there for a while, you know, but yet on and off drove the family car, you know, older parents. But even when you're older, it hasn't changed much. You think it mellow out since you were a teenager, but you know, you got where the scrapyard was a place I'd help my stepdad, you know, he loved to do his cans. Take scrap in, I helped him at times. I went and grabbed some heavy ass stuff loaded in there for him, you know. He was also a big influence in a way, but yet there was passive aggression. I'm not going to go into it in detail, except that the scrapyard also was a place for, you know, maybe somebody like a relative, you know, your mother, stepdad, or mother, father argue, but then just like the coffee bar or the bar, people yak about their wives, and then the women, like on our hands, they're talking on the other side, and you're somewhere in between. And then you got the family members respect you to your face, and even like I said too, you get the family members, oh, just like people want to be workers, you know, doing work around the house, you're trying to do what's right, you know, and you want to bring up all kind of shit when you were a teenager, games that were played, and you were always the lying lowlife or whatever, especially if you had long hair or whatever too. But it's not uncommon for your family members too to be making you into something behind your back. They're talking about their husband or their wife, like Henry Rollins said in that video called Everything. You know, listen to that Henry Rollins Everything. Henry Rollins once said that the guy, you know, music playing in a car, he drinks alone, he takes a drink and all that, and she does the same thing at home, and he just can't bear to, as Henry put it, go back home to that screeching, squalling thing that he was once in love with. They never touched without violence in so many years. But, you know, passive aggressive in each other, but then you're in there as a teenager, you were meant to do work around the house, and sometimes each side would take their shit out on you, project it on you. But unlike when you get older, you get tougher, and there's that, you're out of that running away crying or whatever, and all that bullshit that a lot of people tougher than me would never even admit to when they were younger. But anyway, my stepdad used to go to the scrapyard or whatever too, and you know, they're saying stuff, you know, because in a house you were groomed to be some kind of what do you call it, the cringing little what do you want to call it, this other word, damn, what's that word I'm looking for? Yeah, you're groomed to be that timid little thing, but yet even some of you may have been, unlike how other people may have raised their parents in a dysfunction or whatever, different shit that goes on with the kids these days in school. Some people were groomed to be timid. Yeah, maybe they were like bullied back in school, but then they got smarter and tougher. Certain kind of work you do made you that way. But then you learn later on when you're getting the job, different kind of games, you know, and bullying at a different level that you kind of resist, and you're made to be some kind of. When people later on groom you, for some reason you can be chosen and groomed, not just outside in the world as an obedient worker at home, timid. Oh yeah, strong and smart enough to do their work for you, but anything you beyond trained for it or whatever. I mean, it's like you're supposed to be this timid thing, and then you'd be told that it's wrong. Because they're all, okay, my case is you find out they're already making shit up and saying shit, like, you know, like in my story, like my stepdad or different family members, they'll go to the scrapyard and take stuff over without your help, but sometimes you're helping, and you pick up on certain passive aggressive remarks the owner of the scrapyard. But to make a long story short, you know, the owner that was a guy, never really like me. He used to make these weird ass, make these retarded faces, not be cordial, like talk to me or speak to me like the other men out there. Or there was even these scraggly lowlifes that would be like, go around with scraggly looking and bony chests and their shirts off, you know, too. Like, you can tell they probably, who knows what drugs they were probably doing, taking scrap over there, and they're talking all intelligent to them, and they're looking at, but yet they're looking at you like with these retarded faces, even making these weird ass. I don't want to go into it the whole story, because I tell you the whole story, everything from speaking to you like you're like either a kid or like a retard, but then there's some things like some of us would in a warehouse would joke with each other, come on sweetie, you can do it, or sugar, or like they did in the military to make you, come on wimp. But at the same time, this guy, not like this guy was looking down on me and, hi sugar, or hi sweetie, or actually speak to me like I'm some special needs. Like, what the fuck are you? You know, I mean, they presume because somebody's telling you shit about you that you never had any kind of, you know, work experience or done anything. But meanwhile, I could tell you some stories I was in. I knew how to use pretty much some pretty good heavy-duty equipment like disc grinders and all that. But anyway, the guy's wife, to bring the story short, the guy's wife actually, when he wasn't there one time behind the register, we're selling the scrap, asked me, oh, we need help, do you, because, you know, he just actually saw me taking stuff out of his stepdad, our family car, you know, and putting it on a scale, because, oh, we need help, you want to get hired? And I could tell that she did it on purpose. And I was like, oh man, I have to, really? Is that guy really going to go? But I said okay, because, you know, so they called the personnel service over there that they dealt with, and I was over there. And to make another long story short, to not make this a long ass video, I saw they too had little dysfunction here and there. I helped burn the copper wire, and I actually painted the office all in there in a high thing. We lifted me up with a forklift, and I painted, you know, just brush, because it was a real rough concrete. Just don't worry about the paint going on the floor. It's a scrapyard. The floor, it doesn't matter anyway. But I went up real high, but he used to look at me like I'm retarded. Oh, you scared? You scared? And he didn't know that I had previous warehouse experience. I helped put them big industrial shelves together, and I walked on higher scaffolding, and because of what people were saying, you know what I'm saying? And when I did that, I painted their walls for them, and then I got into conversation with them on my experiences. Yeah, I used this big old chop saw that was like a body of a chainsaw, but a big wheel like this. I had experience with disc grinders, the bigger item like that. I had to get a hang of, you know. But yeah, I just saw just big ass pile of air conditioners instead of taking them apart like this. Just bam, 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 knocked them apart. Take the main components out of there, throw them into a pile here, and then a tin here. Anyway, I was probably set up to fail because of stuff that was being said. Like I said, I made this into a long ass video. It was fucking hour long, and I wanted to render stuff in a corner for you to make my case, and it would take forever to render, so to speak. But anyway, I actually asked. I said the scrapyard, just certain kind of instruments, metal instruments that I bought from them for scrap price and all that. I asked, and the wife actually dealt in that thing. I explained to what I'm actually doing, and this would have eventually, you know, maybe went to like a gym kind of a thing, maybe open up some kind of gym, who knows, but I do say I do it on my own, and my own little insignificant little club that I do, which I bragged about my past experiences that way. Then all of a sudden, yeah, in the conversation, somebody looked me up and told them I had some stupid little mockeries from some other guy, like as a hint that a particular video that I was experimenting with certain kind of medieval night religious kind of music, you know. It was a side project because I had some theories on the side, you know, even with my mother that screamed, swore, and train smoked, I used certain kind of Catholic like or night kind of music, you know, because I don't know, I was fancying myself as a little bit of took multimedia in college, something that I wanted to propagate for a better good, you know. But somebody found out that I was unique, actually being a unique individual and putting stuff on the internet. So instead of all of a sudden the guy may, instead of making these retarded faces, this is a scrapyard close to me, that gets found out. All of a sudden, you know how, hey, I'm jumping here, jumping there, getting the work done like usual, right? And all of a sudden, he glares at me instead of making these retarded faces like he used to always do before I worked there. You know, had these, you know, because it came out while I was working there. The guy, it wasn't just my imagination. They practically told me and asking me about stuff. You know, they practically told me, oh, other words, I was being talked about like I was some kind of big pussy, some kind of timid little retard. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, back when you're teenager youth, you were groomed to be that. And hell, you grew up in a thing where your parents threw things at each other. Maybe a mother or something screamed, swore, and chain smoked, but yet read the Bible, ashtray next to the Bible. Very well versed and knew more about the feasts in an admirable way than some of these religious people, but yet telling you what you can't and can't be and shit like that. So for different reasons, you're groomed to be timid, maybe at home. Maybe you may have got bullied in school. But what happened, this was hilarious. I wanted to get to the point, yeah. From making these retarded faces, all of a sudden, he goes, you know, because I'm jumping around doing the different work. Oh, he better quit being, he tells the wife, and he glaring at me, and he goes, he better quit fucking being so fucking edgy or I'm going to fire his ass. What, edgy? I'm trying to get the fucking shit done, because there was times where it was crucial. Guys coming in, and you're running different things, you know, and you were on the end of, you were doing some work outside. Well, I did some stuff too, like AutoCast that was laying on out here. You know, they had the machine. I was told, which was probably another thing, you know, this big pussy. They had machines to do it. A big bunch of AutoCasts thrown and dumped out here. Throw by hand. Oh, me, I was gratified by that. I'm like, whoosh. Shoot, I had videos where we had AutoCast that we changed from the family car, and I was cranking like this. They didn't know that, so I'm doing it, laughing, and people seeing it out the window. And like I said, too, the wife may have actually asked me to hire me out of spite, probably didn't want me there. The wife, for some reason, they have little dysfunctions, asked me to work there just to spite him. I learned that later, you know, not to say anything to bash them in their life, but I'm laughing about it. So this guy went from making these retarded faces to bursting and glaring at me in anger because he couldn't be a man enough to, oh, maybe somebody was lying to me somewhere or propagating gossip. Maybe I misjudged so-and-so. But no, some of them will do that, but other people, they're mad because they don't want to even subtly or gradually go against their buddies. You got female gossips that do that same thing. You got that in different workplaces too, where they'll go, you got these friends, like I said, I did a video preaching that you can disprove people all you want, but yet your haters will go, oh, how dare him or her make a liar out of us and do stuff out there in the world, and another part of the world sees the opposite. Oh, we're your buddies. We'll stand by you. We'll believe the lie like a religion, you know what I mean? And so you get that, you know. And some people, they'll be friends with you, but yet there'll be little passive-aggressive remarks here and there. You know, a lot of people get mad. They don't want to go against the other guy, you know what I mean? And then you disprove them. Like, there was a point where I ended up saying, hey, you're going to speak to me like that? I'd if you're going to fucking talk down to me that, I said, fuck you, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? You ain't going to find anybody else that can do all your shit like that, you know, too. You even told me about all the people that came through here. And that's the fucking trouble. I do some of these, like, at-will assignments, and people have these views of you because sometimes the people right next to you, they just want a little bit of money for their drugs or whatever, you know, that maybe they're used to seeing that. But yet some people want you to be that way, and they want to talk down to you, and they're mad. And somewhere along the line, too, in another scenario, totally separate video, there's a lot of money made selling these legal and illegal drugs, and they want some people to be down. They don't want to be empowered and all that stuff. And you'll get people, they will, like, erupt in anger and behave a certain kind of a way. And instead of saying they misjudged you, they'll turn around and, because, you know, you do something too well, they'll turn around and say whatever they want. Like, I can tell you a story before that I did a job real well, that I had all personnel service that actually said they were dropping me or whatever. They said, They said they give you good reports on the work, nothing about the work, but the lady told me, we don't want to tell you why, but they said they don't want you back anymore. You did something too well, or you're smart. They used the job to try to buck what you, so to speak. But that's another story that I'd tell, like when I worked at a temporary job, working with metal, you know, when they were sandblasting parts for military trucks. It was a temporary service. I'll tell you that story later, but